Hi there! In this video, I will explain what the ISO 14040 and the ISO 14044 are and how they work. It is important to understand these standards, as they are the leading standards for performing any life cycle assessment. What are the ISO 14040 and 14044? Well, these standards prescribe the process you should go through when you do an LCA. The difference between the two is subtle. ISO 14040 describes the framework and the principles underlying LCA. This can be seen as the backbone of LCA. ISO 14044 supplements this backbone by prescribing certain requirements and guidelines for each of the phases in the LCA framework, as well as for the LCA in general. Every LCA needs to comply to both of these standards. But what are the phases of the LCA framework? And what does each phase entail? The LCA framework, prescribed by the ISO 14040, consists of 4 phases: the goal and scope phase, the life cycle inventory phase, or LCI, the life cycle impact assessment phase, or LCIA, and lastly, the interpretation phase. As the name suggests, in the goal and scope phase, the goal and scope of the LCA are defined. The aim of this phase is to make sure that the LCA is conducted in alignment with the goal, and that the system boundaries are clearly defined and justified. In the second phase of LCA, the life cycle inventory phase, all input and output data for the LCA model is collected. In the third phase, the life cycle impact assessment phase, the environmental impact of the assessed product or function is calculated. Alongside these phases, the interpretation phase is taking place. During this phase, the results are interpreted and the LCA study is assessed critically to see whether the study makes sense and what the impact of certain choices is. These 4 phases together make up the process of doing an LCA. The ISO 14044 complements the LCA framework, set out in the ISO 14040 by prescribing requirements and guidelines for each of the LCA phases, as well as for LCA in general. You could, for example, think about requirements for the definition of the studied system, such as how the system boundaries should be described or on which grounds it can be decided to exclude something from your system. These requirements are intended to ensure the quality of the LCA and to ensure a level playing field for everyone. Because these ISO standards hold for every LCA conducted, the rules are quite general, and you should not expect to find any product-specific rules in there. These will be prescribed in industry standards or product category rules, which are called PCR for short. In summary, in this video, the ISO 14040 and the ISO 14044 were introduced. These are the leading standards when it comes to LCA. ISO 14040 prescribes the LCA framework, which consists of 4 phases: the goal and scope definition, the life cycle inventory analysis, or LCI, the life cycle impact assessment, LCIA, and the interpretation. The ISO 14044 prescribes requirements and guidelines for executing this framework. If you will be conducting an LCA, it is important to know the contents of these standards. You can check out our content on the phases of the LCA framework to learn more about this. Good luck on your LCA journey.